whispering.
There's no fucking way.
Yo, there's two suns going on right now. One there and one there.
That one's fucking aliens. That one's the sun. We're gonna die soon.
Whack.
A severed head was fished out of the creek this morning, one town over from the recent cannibal attacks. The authorities have yet to identify the victim. However, local fisherman Paul Buxtehude says when he retrieved it from the creek that he noticed that the head was half eaten. My speculation is that this incident occurred prior to the first Christmas Eve cannibal attack.
So this girl recently posted a video saying that when we were in 2020 last year, we were technically in a different dimension.
So the ball was a minute late dropping because we were switching back into our normal dimension.
And that's why, like you just heard, the ball was late dropping. And now there is some more things coming up that back this up. If you ask Siri, how many days until 2021?
It's 359 days until then.
Which makes no sense because 2021 was 6 days ago. But now if you type it on Google, how many days until 2021? It says 3 hours and 24 minutes. Also, if you use this Christmas countdown, it says Christmas is in 53 days. So how is time so screwed up right now?
This is the first time it's ever happened in the history of a universe that an entire planet is going to change vibration and frequency and move into another dimension. All of the beings from the other planets are all watching us from the universe, and they are on the edge of their seats watching the grand event take place. They all want to see if you're going to be able to pull this off. It's so important, and it's never been done before. Earth ascending to fifth dimensional consciousness will be beneficial to the entire universe. You came to Earth for a reason, and that's to experience the greatest time to be alive, the frequency of unconditional love, to experience the diversity on this living library. You knew it wasn't going to be easy. You knew you would forget who you are, trust that all that is happening is not enough to break you. You were prepared for this and are fully capable of handling the polarities of Earth. This is the greatest event in the history of the universe, and you are on the center stage performing.
The photo behind me looks pretty normal, right? This is a photo that was taken in 1939. It was taken right after the Nazis had invaded Poland. This photo was actually taken by a Nazi of one of the Polish citizens which he came across. Judging by the look on her face, she had no idea what was to come.
So I don't know about you guys, but I desperately need a ghost story tonight. So I'm going to tell you one that is 100% real and still scares me to this day. It doesn't belong to me, it belongs to my best friend growing up. She lives in a very haunted house, I know because I spent many a nights there on sleepovers, and she sent me pictures so I can visualize it for you guys. So this is Danielle's bedroom, and there used to be a desk right next to the head of the bed right there. One morning, Danielle woke up and her desk chair was actually facing the bed as if somebody had been sitting there and watching her sleep. She sent me this picture as an example. Yeah, no. Now the creepiest story takes place in this bedroom again, but notice the window right at the foot of her bed to the left right there. This is Danielle's backyard, and above me is the window to her bedroom, and to the right is her grandmother's window. One morning her grandmother called her and was like, "What were you doing up so late?" And Danielle was like, "I went to bed at 10 p.m. Her grandma had gone to get a glass of water at 3 a.m. and looked up at Danielle's bedroom window. She said she saw the lights on and someone pacing back and forth in front of Danielle's bed.
All right, guys, so you wanted an update. So here is the shower. That's where the cat goes to the bathroom, so nobody's in there. Nobody's in the bathroom. Nothing's behind the door. All right, we're turning the light off because it doesn't like the light. Here's my fiance.
I don't want to be on camera.
Okay.
I don't think we should be engaging it.
It's fine. It hasn't done anything. It's not really being too like creepy or anything. It just does. So we've been playing peekaboo. Peekaboo.
Wait, oh my god, so zombies are literally real and you can become one. There's a syndrome called walking corpse syndrome. It's a neuropsychiatric disorder in which a person believes they are dead or missing a soul and their brain acts like it. A man was diagnosed after a fatal motorcycle crash. He survived, but he didn't think he did. Since the conditions are so rare, it's very difficult to pinpoint the causes and any potential cures. So if anyone becomes a zombie, very slim chance you can return back to normal. What would you do?
Another morbid story time. Most of us are familiar with medical anesthesia, but may not know the crazy story behind its inventor. This is his gravesite. Dr. Horace Wells was a young dentist who developed an interest in laughing gas after a demonstration. He wanted to apply those same numbing effects to his patients. Later, he experimented with ether and chloroform as anesthetic methods. While he was experimenting, he induced an episode that ended with him throwing acid on 2 innocent women. For his actions, he was thrown in jail, where he ultimately took his own life.
You were more than likely peer pressured into playing this game at every childhood sleepover. However, the original urban legend of Bloody Mary claims that if you chant her name 3 times in a mirror in a dark room, a ghostly apparition will appear to show you the face of who you'll eventually marry. Seeing a skull indicates that you will not marry at all. Other versions of the legend say that the ghostly apparition will appear and scratch your face off. Bloody Mary is also the name given to Queen Mary I of England, who got the name due to her persecution of Protestant heretics whom she burned at the stake in the hundreds.
Ghost Stories from My Mom, Part 1. So when my mom was in her early 20s, she was staying with my grandma until she could get back on her feet. And she told me a story about how she got home one night, went and laid down, and as soon as she laid down, she felt something sit on her chest and pin her to her bed. So she started freaking out and praying. She said it lifted up a little bit, so she tried to move and knock something over to wake my grandma up, but it didn't work. It sat right back down and pinned her back to the bed. So my mom kept praying until finally it got up enough that she ran into my grandma's room and jumped in bed with her. My grandma woke up and was like, "Are you okay?" And mom was like, "Yes, I'm fine." My grandma was like, "You sure you're all right?" Mom was like, "Yeah, I just wanted to come sleep in here tonight." My grandma was like, "Well, you didn't see anything in your room, did you?" My mom was like, "No, I didn't." And she was like, "Well, then why did it follow you in here?" My mom's like, excuse me? And my grandma replies, "Whatever attacked you in your back room, in your room, has followed you into my room, and I don't know what you're doing in your life to attract this thing, but it wants to take you with it when it leaves." So my grandma blessed the house the next day, and my mom's never seen it since, but she has a ton of stories like these from her childhood, so get ready for more.
A ghost actually saved my life. Whether or not you believe in the paranormal, just let me explain how this happened. So one night I was in a really bad mood, because the relationship that I was in at the time was falling apart, and that made me want to take a walk. Long walks just really relieve my stress. Where I decided to go take my walk was at this park in my town, and behind the park there's a long trail of woods that leads to a field and to a river. Once I got to the parking lot of the park, there were 2 trucks parked side by side, and they were the only other vehicles in the lot. So once I parked my car and got out, I noticed that one of the men was giving me an awful stare. It looked like he hated me, and I've never seen the man before in my life. But I disregarded it and started my walk through the woods. Once I got deep in the woods where you had to make kind of your own trail, I heard footsteps coming up behind me. Sure enough, it was the men in the vehicles. And I heard them say I saw him go this way. And those words scared me so much that I couldn't move. As the footsteps got closer, I heard a voice. And it wasn't in my head. The voice was loud and it sounded like it came from above me. It told me to go to the riverbank and hide. I can follow for part 2.
Hey guys, so you asked for another spirit story, so here I am. Warning, the fire in this video gets a little crazy and I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, so here we go. This one happened recently and it's kind of funny. So I was in my room and I was chilling with the spirit and I was talking with the spirit. And I kind of got like weird vibes, like it wasn't the only one there. So I asked the spirit and any other presence to please leave, and it did. So I was like, okay, cool. So flash forward like about an hour or so, I hear my sister scream and call me into her room, and she is not a witch, not metaphysical or anything like that. And she looks at me, she's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "I know you did something witchy in this house, and there's something wrong with my room." And I'm like, "Oh, what's wrong with your room?" She's like, "My candles are lit." And I was like, "Oh." She's like, "I didn't light my candles." I was like, "Oh, okay." So anyway, then I looked around her room and there was a spirit.
once again, please be kind with my pronunciation of this, but Kuchisake Onna is a legend that originated in Japan and translates to the slit-mouthed woman. The legend goes that she was married to a samurai and he accused her of having an affair. In an act of rage, he took it upon himself to slit her mouth from ear to ear. When he finished, he asked, "Who will think you're pretty now?" Soon after she died, she became a vengeful spirit, harming anyone who crossed her path. She appears to people who are alone at night, especially children, and she is always wearing a surgical mask, which is so common today, no one would even think twice if she approached you, which is scary. If she approaches you, she'll ask, "Do you think I'm pretty?" If you say no, she will kill you right then and there. If you say yes, she will remove her mask, revealing her true form underneath, and ask, "And now?" If you say yes, she will carve the same smile onto your face, and if you say no, she will just kill you. So, there's really no right answer here.